Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes. Good evening, everyone. We have a show for you tonight. We have a legend from Annapolis tonight who resides in San Francisco. But before we bring her on, I just want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors. One of our sponsors are Image Power Incorporated, located in Annapolis, established since 2009, and certified by the MBE, Gaming and Slot Machine Division, Marketing and Public Relations Division, certified by the MBE in the state of New York and the state of Maryland. And the owner is none other than Carl Henson Jr. himself. I just want to say thank you for sponsoring the Legends from the Past and Future show. Thank you for seeing our vision, Carl. I really appreciate that. But without further ado, we're going to bring on the great, legendary Parris Lane. Parris, how you doing? Parris, how you doing? Unmute your mic.
I did not mute my mic, but okay. Hi.
Hey, welcome to the show tonight. How you
Thank you.
doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing very well, thank you.
Awesome. How's
Yeah,
the weather?
yeah.
How's the weather out
It's
there?
hot. It's hot. That everyone's like, well, it's in the 80s, and so it usually stays between 65 and at the highest 75 out here. So this is our heat wave, like 84 degrees. So yeah, but it's cool.
Wow. Well, one thing I remember about San Francisco, all right? The bridge is a
Oh,
Golden Gate Bridge.
there he is. There you go.
But what's the
Yeah.
color? What's the color of that bridge, Paris?
Well, it's like a bronze red. So when the sunshine shines upon it, it becomes golden. Gotcha.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're going to travel back in time. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Why
Yeah.
don't you tell the viewers, where were you born and raised?
Oh, 30 West Washington Street, the old Fourth Ward, in the living room on the sofa. That's real
Really?
talk, man. Yeah, yeah. I was supposed to be born at the Naval Academy, at the Naval Hospital.
Yeah.
Then my mom went over there and they said, "Oh, you're not having a baby until 2 weeks later or whatever." And she came home and had me on the living room sofa. And it was during a thunderstorm. So I was born with an audience, pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So you know what? You from Fourth Ward.
Yeah, yeah.
You, you,
Real,
you
really from Fourth Ward. I mean,
wow.
I mean, really, my great grandparents were one of the founding families of Saint. Phillips Episcopal Church, which was the black branch of St. Anne's Church.
Okay.
So yeah. So my family name is MacPherson on that side, and then it's MacPherson and Green. So
So you
yep,
guys,
the Green part went to Asbury, and the MacPhersons went to St. Phillips.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. So now where does Spa Road come into play at?
I don't know who said I was from Spa Road.
You sure?
I'm positive. I mean, I'm like 6 or 7 generations just from that area,
Okay.
the Fourth Ward. Now we did move to Southgate Avenue,
Hmm.
but that was because of urban renewal, which is also known as urban removal. So my
Wow.
family wanted to stay in town, and so we went to Southgate. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Now before we go further, I just want to say hello to Sylvia Ennis and
Hi, Sylvia.
TD. I think TD is Tanya. They're saying hello.
Oh, Tanya, tell him I said hi.
Now, okay, what are some of the things you enjoyed doing while growing up?
In town?
In town or
In the fourth ward?
in the
Oh my
forecourt?
goodness. As a child?
As a
Oh,
child?
oh my goodness.
This is
Well,
your life.
well, fourth ward was really special because that was where everyone came to town. All the sailors, the soldiers from Fort Meade, and yeah, anybody that was in the military would come down there to party and so forth. So we were sort of in the I guess in the gateway, because our house was, you had to come past our house to get to all the other places down there. Um, but the fourth ward, um, a lot of memories. The train station. We used to play on the stacks of coal. Um, that was, because the train would come to the park, like where Lowe's is now behind there. It's a big,
Yeah.
huge parking lot, and we all used to play out there. And they had stacks of coal, and they used to bring in the race horses from Laurel Racetrack to get them weighed. And it was, I had cousins on every corner, so so I felt very safe. It was really like a village. It was really, really a village because everyone knew everyone, and everyone knew who everyone was related to,
Yeah,
and yeah, everyone looked out for everyone. So it
absolutely.
was, yeah, it was a wonderful. I always say my childhood um, was just wonderful. And I feel extremely blessed because I had assumed everyone had a childhood like that, but I found out later that it wasn't. My dad worked at the Naval Academy after he did 24 years in the Navy, and,
Okay.
um, and then my great uncle was 24 years in the Navy, and he was working at the Naval Academy. So,
Ah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. He did 24 years in the Navy. I'm so
hi.
because there's only one branch, Paris. There's only one branch, and that's the United States Army. Okay. All right. So we're gonna
Oh,
move
oh,
on.
oh, 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 those guys we beat all the time at the games. Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, no.
What?
Okay.
I'm gonna let you have that one.
No.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Now, now, who are some of the people that you looked up to while growing up? Who had the?
Um, there were many people that I looked up to, in a sense, but a lot of it came from my great aunt and my mom because my dad was away a lot. He was stationed away a lot. So my great aunt and my mother, I would say, um, you know, were, you know, the teachers,
Yeah,
the rules, what you had to do, what you couldn't do, how you had to act. Because
yeah.
especially for my great aunt, she's like, "You're a Macpherson. You don't act like that," or you just like, this. Who was a Macpherson? But you had to act a certain way because it represented the family.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all 100 cousins. What the heck? But but that's the way it was. And
Yeah,
we, we had family traditions and so forth in the house. And yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So now you did you first start out singing gospel?
Are you? Well, my singing started at home during the thunderstorms.
Okay.
We had to um close all of the windows, close the curtains, the shades down, really hot, 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 and and they would have an oil lantern or a candle. Well, most of the time it was the oil lanterns,
Yeah.
and we had to sit around in the living room and sing spirituals. And so my mother and my great aunt would do a call and response, um, and so we, my I had three older sisters, and so pretty much they took all of the main parts. And so what I did was I learned how to find my space within that singing, that's one of the main reasons why I can improvise with anything.
Wow. So
Hmm.
you realize that your voice, you have four octave, right?
Hmm.
You can you that reminds me of Minnie Riperton. When did you
Hmm.
realize that you had that vocal talent where you could reach those different levels?
Um, I mean, I didn't, to be honest with you, I didn't think of it as something extraordinary because Annapolis has a lot of talent, and
Yes.
there were far there. I mean, some sisters that sang way, way better than me. I
Mhm.
mean, just out of the pocket. So I didn't even, including my own sisters. So um, I never thought of it as anything extraordinary because there was an overabundance of talent in um, Annapolis. So it felt regular, it was a regular singer, you know.
Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
but the difference was I I branched out and into other things. Um, I love good songs, and good songs are in various genres of music, and so that gave me I would say a little push ahead because I knew Gershwin stuff, and a lot of classical music, and then I was into musical theater, and I stayed into the movies from the American classics from the 40s because I love the interaction, the innocence, the room and space they give us to use our imagination. You
Mm.
know,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So now we're gonna slow down just a little bit. Now, you're in high school now. What are
Hmm.
some of the things you did in high school? Did you participate in talent shows and uh,
Oh yeah, I sure did.
you did?
Oh yeah. Not a whole lot. What happened was I went into the soul choir, and so as the soul, this is a little gospel choir, and we went around different churches and events, and we sang. Um, and it was led by Jackie Scott, who was attending Howard University at that time.
Mm,
And yeah, we went around to different places, and because I was in the soul choir, I think it was uh, uh, Dean Adams, I think it was, that had told Junior Johnson about me singing in the choir. And so they had asked me to come and joined their band. Their band was Cosmic Creation at that time. And so that was the band that I went into. But still, while I was in school, um, I had Valerie Mills as a music teacher, and she started pushing me. And it was like, why don't you try out for, all county? And I go, oh, okay. And I tried it out, made all county. Why don't you try out for all state? Okay. And then, why don't you try out for America's Youth in Concert? And I, okay. So, there I went and toured Europe singing classical. We spent a month at Princeton University and to learn how to sing in 7 different languages, and off we went, just going around. But
Really?
she's the one that encouraged me to try out for Godspell, in which um, I did in the first, at school. I'm still friends with some of those folks that were in that production to this day. Um, Matter of fact, Charlie Gray, um, he's going to be on Law and Order in a couple of days. I mean, he was on Broadway in Color Purple, Fences, um, and yeah. So it's just, yeah.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
it sort of went like that. And from the play, from the school, then somebody had seen me and asked me to audition for the little theater that's down off of church, not church, State Circle, off of State Circle. Forgot the name of the theater. Just, but it's a little theater in the round that's downtown, and so I did Godspell there, and then by um, after that, I think it was Ted Cooper and Valerie Mills had Evil Arts, and so they were producing shows, and I did Jesus Christ Superstar, Selma, and Pearlie with them. So yeah, I did a
Wow.
little bit of everything.
I can see. I can see now. Now, did you go to college?
Oh, later, but I didn't go. No, I didn't. No, no. No, I had uh, an opportunity to go to college on a scholarship of singing opera, but I didn't want to sing opera, just opera, because once you get trained to sing a certain style of music, like opera, this is just it's really training, and
Yeah.
there's no you got to stick to the rules there, and it's you got to yeah. And so I didn't want to do that. I think I'm too out of the box um, to be that disciplined.
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, from being in the military, you got to be disciplined, and I'm just not, I'm way out of the box. Okay.
Yeah, I
So,
can't tell. Really, you out of the box?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there several, as you had mentioned earlier, there were several. It's the talent in that was just amazing. What was one of the, or what were the bands that you sang with when you were performing?
Oh, I started out with Cosmic Creation, and then I went to Friction, and then to Crosswinds, then to Mars, then to Radio City, and then to High Society.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So now you actually, with Mars, you guys were on Capitol Liberty Records. Is
Mhm.
that correct? Yeah. How did
Mhm.
that come about?
Uh, through Lionel Job, who actually had Starpoint first, and I guess Marvin practically introduced him to the Mars group, and so that sort of is how that happened.
Okay, okay. I got to tell you though, Paris, I'm really, I've been trolling you for real, and
I
I'm just amazed. I'm just amazed. I'm so
mean,
proud.
you're trolling the good stuff or the bad stuff.
Well, we'll talk about that
Okay.
later. but man, I've been listening to a lot of and watching some of your videos, your recordings and stuff, and you're just amazing. Where did
Thank you so much.
where did acting come in at?
I think I think that was a natural part. If you're really a performer, in a sense of having a stage presence where you're not taught to have that stage presence, it's all a show. you know.
Yeah.
It's all a show. That's why they call it show. But you got that business part that everybody keep forgetting about.
Yeah.
So it's all a show. But yeah, the acting, yeah, that came pretty naturally to me. So
Yeah. So now between now both of them, I'm pretty sure it's just it ranks high with you. But uh, singing and acting, which do you prefer?
it's not a preference. I mean, I'm a singer at heart. That's what I was doing first, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but I enjoy acting. There's a difference between stage and film. There, and I've done both uh, for a living. So there's a big difference. Um, and singing, I've done everything. Just everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So you managed to meet Quincy Jones. Now, any collaboration with Quincy Jones?
No, my it was a lunch date, and um, it was more for me to uh, when I meet people, I'm like a sponge. I like to learn from them.
Hmm.
So if I did something with Quincy Jones, it becomes Quincy Jones project, and everyone would think that Quincy Jones did it. With Quincy Jones, I got to pick his brain about everything that he had done and everyone he had worked with. And I I learned a lot. I even learned about myself because he saw stuff in me that I didn't even see in myself.
Wow.
Actually, he's the one that said to me, I was telling him about my book, the idea of a book
Yeah.
and the story, Abella. Just the idea, because he did the music for Roots, and
Yeah.
so he started explaining everything about Alex Haley and so forth, and um, and 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 when I told him my story, he just was like, that sounds like a good story. That sounds like, yeah, that's a good story. That's a good story, because my story focuses on the music
Yes.
of the enslaved people. I mean, I didn't keep any of the brutality out because that was part of why a lot of the music came about, from the pain
Hmm.
and suffering. So, yeah. And even with me meeting him, that was an interesting day because I was with him for 2.5 hours in Beverly Hills, and I get back to Las Vegas and I meet Muhammad Ali. And
Did you?
yeah, yeah, and he kissed me on the cheek, and I didn't want to wash it for a week. I didn't wash that spot for a week. I'm not lying.
Oh, you for real?
I'm for real. It's a spot right here. I said, "Oh no!" I went around it, and I've met a lot of stars in my days, but
Yeah.
some of them just that they done so much for our people that you have to give them the kudos.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had to give it to him because I remember him as a child and watching that black and white TV and seeing what he sacrificed for
Yeah.
us. And I thanked him for that, for all of his sacrifices. Because
Yes.
people don't realize when someone's an entertainer and or athlete, out in the open like that, and they stand up for something, they lose a lot
Hmm.
monetary wise, and people don't
Wow.
want to be around conflicts or anything that they don't believe in,
Yeah.
even if it's for the betterment of society. And when you speak out, it's like Eartha Kitt. She was blackballed. Everybody gets blackballed, and so
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So you said that you didn't wash it for
Oh, it was this which side was it was. I'm trying to look, man. It's right around here. That spot. I'm not lying.
well,
Yeah.
Tanya. Tanya said, "I don't blame you, sis."
See, see, that's some real talk.
It's the real talk, yeah. Well, one of the and just to let the audience know, we were interactive with a lot of our audience members tonight, and they actually sent some questions in. And
Yeah, yeah, some great
one of
questions.
one of the people who sent their question in, C down, she said she didn't think she was going to make it tonight, but guess what? You're on, and she's on. You
Oh,
know,
okay. I'm
Lanita
so
Chosen
happy.
Hill, she's on today, and she's in a different country somewhere. So
Oh, hello. Oh, that's
yeah,
special.
yes,
That's
yes. So
special.
that's awesome. But anyway, so you're a PBS Emmy nominated actress and singer.
Hmm.
All right, let's talk about that. How did that come about?
God, faith.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about me. I have radical faith. I mean,
Okay.
it's like with everything I've done in life, it's just I step out on faith, and some people think that something's wrong with me. But I'm like this. If God gives you a talent, or He gives you a message, we procrastinate a lot of times. It's just I just have this radical faith.
Yes.
I was with the group High Society. And it was really high society. We did high society gig. I mean, it paid for my daughter's tuition through private school and boarding school, and I mean, trips out of the country and so forth. We did corporate parties, and we were in the Jewish circuit. So I did bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. I've seen stuff that the average person would gasp at. I was gasping myself. But um money spent on events that were just um unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've seen caviar going from one side of the Ritz hotel to the other side, and I've
Yeah.
seen where people have rented coliseums to have bar mitzvahs for the kids and things, and we're flown out and so forth. So um with high society, it put me it was a whole different ball game, you know. Um I was like everybody else, started out in the chitlin circuit, and then but I knew that I didn't want to stay there. And
Yes.
I like I said, I have radical faith. And then what I did was, after I was making a very, very good living, um, part time, more than what most people made full time.
Mm,
I made that on the weekends singing.
right.
Um, and so um, I decided that um, I didn't want to do it anymore. And so I quit the group. Everyone, like, you gotta be kidding. But I knew that I couldn't grow anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be making money. Yeah. But I wouldn't be able to grow, and so I decided to step out on faith. I quit, and so I started sending my resumes out everywhere,
Mm.
and so much I didn't even keep a record of who I was sending it to. And then when Maryland Public Television called me up and had asked if I would be interested in coming in for an audition. um, uh, I didn't even know exactly what it was for. And I said, "Who? What? Oh, okay." And so I went for the audition. And I think the thing that helped me the most to be selected, um, as um, the producer has said, is that um, I wasn't intimidated um, with the audition, and the reason I wasn't intimidated is because the star of the show had asked me. He said, "Oh, I heard you're a singer," and he's like, "Let me hear you sing something." And I'm like, "What do you want to hear? You want to hear opera? Start singing opera. You want to hear jazz? You want to hear some Aretha? Chaka Khan? I'm going on and on." And he like looked like all of these voices coming out of me, and everyone just started laughing because it sort of put him on the spot. But because he did that, I was able to show more of what I could do, and so they hired me.
Wow, wow,
But it's
wow.
it's just radical faith. I said because a lot of times we get comfortable and complicit and say we just want to play it safe. But when then we go, oh God, help me get out of there. And God said, okay, well, you got to do this. Oh God. And then you sit back. Oh, no, no, no. I got to have all my ducks in order. No, that's not faith, having your ducks in order. And so you got to go out there not knowing, but knowing.
Yes, yes,
You got,
yes, yes.
yeah, because you know that you know that you know that you know.
Come on
So
now.
and
Come
that
on.
and so that's how you do it. And I've been like that pretty much all of my life. Yeah.
Well, one of our viewers, Stephen Bannon, he says, this is a beautiful interview with an awesome, talented, and amazing lady.
Oh,
And that
that's
you
so
are.
sweet. Thank you
But
so much.
he
But
also said,
but
I, I'm going to answer his question for
okay.
him. All right.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Because
what's
he
that?
said he wants to know, when will you be in Annapolis performing? Well, Mr. Banyan, I'm gonna tell you like this for her. I'm gonna answer that question for you, okay? All right, all right. The legend from the past is gonna have an event, and I'm speaking this into existence now. Parris Lane, all right, she's gonna be in Annapolis for me, and she's gonna sing at that event. All right, there you have
Okay.
it. Now we'll put out the date when we have the event. All right, all right.
I'm gonna get you. Oh,
There you have it. Now,
okay.
okay, there's so much stuff we can cover here, because you're such a beautiful person, and
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna ask you a question that Janice Hayes Williams
Oh
asked.
yeah, I
Okay,
saw that.
all
I
right.
saw that.
So she wants you to know who was the best organ player on Washington Street, and
Well,
and it's a two-part now.
yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, all right. There.
So this question, and I'm gonna cry again, made me really cry. Um, Now I didn't know Miss Annie played organ because I went to First Baptist Church across the street. However, Miss Annie used to play the piano all the time. She used to rehearse, and I could hear the music through the walls. And this is how I learned a lot of hymns because of Miss Annie. Um, Another thing is that and see, I got to get my tissue. Because people don't realize what children, when they're surrounded, their surroundings, what they pick up.
Yeah.
And as my my birth name, my middle name is Ann, and my mom gave me that name because Miss Annie came to the house when my mom was having me on that sofa. And
Yeah.
so my middle name Ann is from Miss Annie Henry. But
Wow.
yeah, so I yeah, I learned a lot. I thought I was a genius. Because by the time I got to First Baptist Church, I knew all the songs. But it was because I was hearing it through the walls. And something like that. And I didn't even know she had a master's degree in music from Howard University until I was at the funeral. And to me, she was
Wow.
Miss Annie, the next door neighbor. And um, I remember when Mr. Frank died. Mr. Frank was he died. I believe that was her father, and I remember her taking care of her mom, who was bedridden. Just as a kid, and I used to go, and when Cecilia, because it was a great niece, would come from New York. She couldn't leave the front porch, and so I used to go over to the front porch and play with her. But yeah, but Miss very, very instrumental
Wow.
without even knowing it, even knowing it.
Wow.
Through
Wow.
the walls, through the walls.
That's
Hmm.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Now, before I move to the second question, I got to recognize a few people. Is that okay?
no problem. It's your show.
Vanessa Turner, welcome to the show. And Lanita, she said it's the radical faith for sure. And
Yay.
she's back from Peru. So
Ooh.
she,
Peru.
look, you know what? I'm gonna say this. Yeah, she came back just to witness you. That's why she came. That's right.
I
That's right.
don't think so, but okay. Long
Hey,
as
now,
she's back and safe and sound. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Now, do you recognize Jacqueline McClure?
Yeah.
She
Jackie
she's
McClure. I see her every time she comes out to San Francisco. We hang together. Yeah.
That's what she said. She said, "Hello, my West Coast
Yeah.
sister."
Yeah. Yeah. Her dad and my dad were in the Navy together.
Uh, you
Yeah.
know, well, we're not going to talk much about the Navy.
Okay.
We're going we're going to sidestep that. Okay.
It's a Navy town. What can I say?
Well, this is an Army show. What can I
Okay.
say?
You're too funny. Okay.
So now Carla C. Downs. All right, she was the one that said, I don't think I may not be able to make it, but she made it. And her
Um,
question was, out of all the accolades and awards you've received, which one resonates with you the most on a personal level? And how did it shape your perception of your work?
um, that's the interesting question. Um, because a lot of times, I've won awards and things. I just do the work and get through the work and I move on. And a lot of times I don't even realize what I have done until I go back and look and I go, oh my God, oh yeah, I did that. Um, because it's so much part of work, for me. But I guess the Emmy nomination, because you know, you hear people say God have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I never thought I would be on TV doing children's television.
Wow.
I mean, if you had told me that, um, I did have a prophet once said to me she saw me around a bunch of children. So, and then the following year I was on the television. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, I mean, she also wants to know this. How has growing up in this area, in not San Francisco, in Annapolis, right?
I'm still growing up. I am.
Well,
Um,
look,
my artistic vision,
yeah,
Annapolis. Annapolis. Well, okay. Remember, I said I call it Trinity, the way that I learned music. Because in the living room, right during the thunderstorms, Miss Annie next door
yeah.
playing music, and then directly across the street you had First Baptist Church, and back then they didn't have air conditioning, and so they would open the windows, and so the music would flow into our home. We were directly across the street. Um, however. With Annapolis, it was not easy. Um, it really wasn't that there were so many doors shut. Um, and I mean, I could go on for 2 hours. How many doors were shut? purposely shut, and I don't think because but it made me determined
Yeah.
uh, to knock down, and I didn't have a glass ceiling. I had a brick ceiling. I had to knock down bricks, and that's why locally I was the first Black person to be performing down there. As a singer, as a front person, because a lot of those clubs down there uh, did not allow a Black person to be the front person. You could be a side person, saxophonist, a drummer, but in the front, um, it would, yeah. Um, John Starr, who um, is a very dear friend, opened a lot of doors for me because he's the one that got me to Radio City. But there, 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 it was very difficult um, with Annapolis. The racism,
Yes.
the
Yes.
racism,
Yes.
and jealousy. I,
Mm.
I even had,
Yeah.
even to get into Maryland Hall to produce shows. Um, I went to St. John's College first because Maryland Hall said no, that I
No.
couldn't come in with amplified music, and and
What?
and um and so when I went to St. John's, for a couple of years, what happened was my crowd got larger because they seated 650 people, and Maryland Hall seated 850.
Mm.
And so that last time when I had asked and they had still said no, and then I just rebuked it. And I said, you know what? That's one of the first stages that I performed in when it was a
Yeah.
school,
Yeah.
and I said, I represented this county, this state, and this country as a
Yeah.
singer. And you're telling me, and I graduated from
Yeah.
it when
Right.
it was a school, and you're
That's right.
telling me that I can't come into here and
Mm.
do a show. And then I said, well, I think I'm gonna let the press know about this. And
Mm.
that's when the tables turned and they allowed
Awesome.
me in. But
Awesome.
it was not easy. It really was not easy. um
Yeah.
so I think what it did was it prepared me for the real world, you know
Hmm.
and yeah, it prepared me a lot, to have thick skin, because I didn't come from having thick skin, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I took it personally, but but it strengthened me, all through all
Yeah.
of your pain and suffering. You become stronger.
Absolutely.
You got to find that light in there, and use that light and make it powerful, and to
Yes.
survive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then being a female, in a male dominant business, it's a whole different ball game.
Yeah. So you say that, and before I get the questions, right? You've come a long ways. You have your own entertainment. It's called what? Pearl Entertainment and
Hmm.
Store, right? So
Yeah, we have an e-commerce site. But I had my own production company and record label when I was in Annapolis in my 30s.
wow, did you? I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Wow,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome. That's awesome. In Annapolis. Well, you know
yeah.
what? She may have been talking about San Francisco, but I said Annapolis because I know that you had a lot to say about Annapolis. And besides that, why talk about a place who does their own color of their bridge? You know, it's they call it Golden Gate, and it's not even
Still
golden.
talking about the bridge.
Oh, I'll talk about that all night.
But yeah, yeah. So yeah, Annapolis, um, I had to do what I had to do. Sometimes, you do what it toughens you. You learn the business and you learn how to do what you got to do.
Yeah, yeah, and it really helped you become who you are today. And you
Yeah,
just again, now you'll hear me say this all the time. You're just amazing,
thank
really.
you so much. Thank
Props out to Orlando Mako who's giving you the thumbs up, and This
Thank
cat is a
you.
Marine, but I'm gonna have to recognize him anyway. Silk Sims,
That's part of the Navy. That's the grunt.
gosh.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Paris, you got to be on my side. We come on
I'm
now.
on I'm on I'm on your side.
Yeah,
But you know what? I grew up in town, so I all the guys from Fort Meade used to come down because I'm on West Washington Street. 'Cause my mom used to sell dinners, right, and cupcakes, all these homemade pastries and stuff, and she would donate all the funds to the church, and so everybody would come past our house. Um, but when you just said Marine, I had a flashback of my first time seeing a Marine in dress blues was during the Vietnam War. And, everyone was getting killed. And I was, a little kid, inside of Richmond's drugstore on the corner. And I would never forget the woman, the cashier, just said, "Oh my God, a Marine." And the entire store just stopped and looked at him.
wow.
That was my first time seeing Marine and dress blues. Yeah. It was
Okay, all right. I'm gonna ask you this question. All right, okay, all right,
okay.
all right. Marine Army dress uniform. Who's got the best looking dress uniform?
Oh, you know it's the dress blues.
Oh gosh.
Oh, come on. You know that. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to drink on my own show, but you're gonna cause me to start drinking while
Long
I'm
as you
interviewing.
drinking water, drink the water.
Well, I want you to know something. Vanessa Turner says Army all the way.
Oh no. I mean, it's all green, you know. But yeah, the dress blues. Yeah. And one thing about
Uh,
living in town, because everybody was coming there, I knew the different branches. I knew, the military time and all of it, uh,
yeah,
which rank they were. I knew all of that stuff as a kid. I can't tell you any of it now, but
yeah.
because it was we were surrounded by it so much. That the Fourth Ward was like our little mecca.
Uh-huh.
We had because my mother and great aunt would buy stuff from everybody. We had a Native American that would come to the house and he sell these all these oils and jewelry, and would take my allowance and save up so that I could buy his jewelry. And then we had Mr. Muhammad man that used to come by with his bean pies,
Green pies.
and we buy the bean pies and the pineapple
Yeah.
cones. But I would sit and talk, and I'll never forget Mr. Muhammad man saying to me, because my nickname is Toots, and he said, "Toots," he said, "you got to be like James Brown." You know what James Brown said? "I don't need nobody to open the door for me. He said, I don't need nobody to give me anything, something like that. Just open the door and I go and get it myself." And I always remember that, him saying that. And so that's why I go and I get it myself. From those
Oh,
words that Mr.
wow.
Muhammad, man,
Wow. And
gave
your
me.
nickname again was what?
Toots, Tootsie. Yeah.
You've had several nicknames though, right? Is that just one?
Yeah, yeah, I have several nicknames.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's still growing out here. I can just call me. What's in the name? No, you know what? I let it roll off of me because, you know, from being children of the diaspora, we really don't have our names. So
Yeah.
I just let it roll off. Yeah. Yep.
What are some of your hobbies?
Well, I don't really have hobby. Well, I mean, there are things that I like to do, but I do everything that I like to do. So I
Yeah.
don't consider them as hobbies. I think of it all as a part of who I am. I don't, I like to paint. I love to write. sing. I love being in the studio. I
Yeah.
love to create, so they're not really hobbies. They're just a part of, I do everything that I like to do.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
had a friend said to me, he said, you know, what are you gonna, don't you want to retire so that you can do everything that you want to do or anything you want to do? And I'm like, I'm doing that. I've been doing that basically all my life. So that's how it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. And you
Because
do
you
work.
never know. Tomorrow's not
Yeah.
promised.
It's not.
So
That's true. That's true. And you do work out. What kind of workouts do you do?
ah! Hot yoga. I do hot yoga 3 times a week and Pilates 2 times a week. Hot
What
Pilates, hot yoga. It's like 105 to 110 in there.
what in the world is hot yoga and hot Pilates? Well, what is this?
When you're in a hot room, it's hot. It's like a steam bath. I mean, it's really hot. It's really 105 degrees minimum. And you're doing all these 26 yoga poses, and it strengthens you. So any of the women that are losing their bone density, it's really great for you. It releases stress. Um, yeah, very good for your blood pressure and everything. So, and the
Awesome.
Pilates
Awesome.
just kick. That's a kicker because it's not what the way they have it. You don't have the machines. You're the Pilates machine pulling the body up on your own, you know. So it's a whole different ball game. But it's cool. So
Wow.
that's my little
Wow.
journey right now. Yeah.
Well,
Because I fall off the wagon sometimes too.
you do.
Oh yeah, I go
Yeah.
chocolate like yeah.
Oh,
Love me some chocolate. Dark
oh.
chocolate, yeah.
that-
So. So but then you can't fit into your clothes and so you gotta get back. So
So me, you telling me that you be ice cream and all that
oh no
stuff?
no
Well,
no no ice cream.
yeah.
I just started eating some vegan ice cream, but yeah, I'm very careful about dairy products because it causes mucus to grow up
Yes.
in you,
Yes.
and that's not good for you as a singer.
That is so true. That is so
Yeah.
true. Well, let's get back to the questions here. So
Mhm.
Juanita Cage Lewis, she said
Mhm.
that she saw where you posted a picture of a guitarist,
Mhm.
Jubu Smith, right?
Mhm.
All right. So have you had the opportunity to perform with him?
No, I like to promote people that are good. And I was reading her question because she heard him with Frankie Beverly, but
Yes.
I've worked with a guitarist named Iceman, and Iceman was Mariah Carey's guitarist for numerous years, and then he one of Frankie Beverly's last shows you can see Iceman on stage with Frankie Beverly as well. But that's who I use in the recording studio and so forth. Yeah. Iceman.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Now,
you always see me promoting other people. They're good. I'm letting people know about them. Yeah.
yeah, you actually you sent a video. What's the name of the group that you sent? And they were pretty good. They were pretty good. What is? Well, you know what? I'm getting old, and I don't remember like I used to, even though you just sent it. You
Oh,
know,
okay. It's okay.
but
I don't know. I be sending stuff out.
man,
Go on.
I tell you,
So yeah. So that's let's see, what she said something about with being in the music business. My professional take on all this drama going on in the hip hop field. It's well, it's not just hip hop; it's rap too. So I don't know if they combine the both of them, but that stuff has been going on for ages. The Puff Daddy, that kind of stuff, it's been
yeah,
going. You so many women and men have slept their way. to stardom. Um, I'm not knocking them. They did what they felt that they had to do to get to where they wanted to be. So that's the choices that they made in life. And I decided not to,
Yes.
because I'm like, hey, if God gave me a gift, He'll provide. He always
Mm.
provide. So, um, but I could it when you hear these stories, especially with the women, it could have easily happened to me. And by
Yeah.
the grace of God, um, the person that I was told to meet up with kept saying to me, "You're a good girl. You're a good girl." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a good girl." I was really naive.
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
naive, thinking that everyone would treat me like the guys in my previous bands. Like in Crosswinds and Friction and Cosmic Creation,
Yes.
they protected me. Those guys
Mhm.
protected me in those bands. Um, but I could have easily been in that situation, and and it was somebody that was in charge of the band that actually one of the producers um, that did that.
Mhm.
And by the grace of the God, that guy said to me, "You're a good girl." And he said, "Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to stay in this room for 35 minutes." And he's looking at his watch, right? And he said, "We're just going to talk. We're just going to have a conversation." And he said, "Just don't tell anyone, what happened. Yeah, that we just talked.
Yeah.
So he didn't want anyone to know that had happened. But that was by the grace of God. I mean, he could have
Yeah.
raped me and anything, but
Absolutely.
um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just you're into situations, and you think that everyone thinks like you.
Mhm.
That they wouldn't harm anybody, wouldn't do this or wouldn't do that because you wouldn't do that to someone. But it's not like that. People feel they need to have power over you, and so they do things to you to have that control and power over you. It's all about power. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
So
Wow. That's amazing. That's touching.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And God was truly looking out for you
Oh,
at the
for
time.
real, for real. And the thing was, I was so naive. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about it until years later, until there
Mm.
was a situation with Mike Tyson and this girl,
Yeah.
and my brother was like, "Well, she shouldn't have gone up in the room," and blah blah blah. And I said, "Dude, that stuff like pretty much happened to me." But I
Yeah.
was, and he just was like shocked.
Mm.
um, I just had someone that had a conscience.
Yeah.
Not to say that Mike Tyson actually did that because we don't know, but I'm
Absolutely.
saying, you know, it happens. You know, it happens a lot.
Hmm.
So, and I know even from, I mean, that's in the film business they call it the casting couch, and so, and because I used to when I lived in Vegas, I used to cast uh, film
Hmm.
commercials, television commercials, America's Most Wanted, you know, the movie 21. I was being mentored by Mary Lee Lear of the Learjet family. She took me in and started teaching me how to cast films, commercials and all of that stuff. So
Wow.
I got to learn, all aspects of the business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, we have a few more questions, and then we're gonna talk briefly about Paris, how the name Paris came about,
Hmm.
and Paris, the film producer. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So the next question will be from Tanya TT.
Hmm.
Okay, and
Yeah. Her
yeah,
brother was in Jesus Christ Superstar with me, and then her other brother Reed was in Friction. with me.
Really?
Abney, right?
Abney,
The
yeah.
Abney? Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, we had some serious talent, didn't we?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I never thought of it as being, blah, 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 because
Yeah.
Annapolis had it all. It was like
Yeah.
overabundance.
That is so true. That is so true. Well, her question was, when did Paris know that she wanted to become an entertainer? When did you know that you wanted to become an entertainer?
Um, I can't say what. I don't know. It's just something I did and I enjoyed, and so I wanted to be there because I had fun. Music rises up your dopamine in your system. It makes you feel good. The only problem is once you finish your gig, you're trying to come back down. Okay, you're up all night long. Da, 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 da. Um, um, and the adults, go to alcohol and drugs, to
Yeah.
help them control, come back down or get back up or whatever. It's like Michael Jackson had the anesthesia to go to sleep
Yeah.
because he couldn't go to sleep. What helped me with that, I prayed. I prayed and
Yeah.
yeah, I prayed, but I understand that. But I never, I don't know if I had this moment saying, you know, I just want to. I enjoyed it, the whole process from the choir and everything. I don't know if I didn't expect to become a full time singer or anything because I wasn't around anyone that was doing it full time for a living. And the person I got, this is one thing Quincy Jones said to me: do not get advice from the person who has never been to where you are trying to go. And that was so powerful because we go and we try to get advice from people who's never been in the business, people who's never tried. And so what they do is put their limitations on you. And
Yeah.
I had a relative said, what you want to be when you grow up? And I was 14. I said, a singer. I think I would be a singer. And and he said, oh, you never make a living out of being a singer.
What?
And so that was in my mind. That
Yeah.
was in my mind for a long time.
Mhm.
And so I always sang part time, and I kept a little state job 3 days a week, for my health insurance and everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
thing else. But and because it was a flexible schedule. But I think that I would have done more if that wasn't planted in, that seed wasn't planted in me because it takes a while to get rid of something like that.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
see that.
So you
I
got to be
really.
careful who you're getting advice from. I tell that to any of the children because
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
just
that's so
because
true.
somebody's older doesn't mean that they know.
Well, what type of advice did George Clinton give Paris Lane?
Oh, there. Oh no, I didn't get advice from George Clinton. I just, we were at a Grammys event, and I said, well, might as well get in between the greatest. Go go and folk. Yeah, buddy, I'm here. You rub those elbows. Let it, let the genius part rub off on you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but the best. I'd say one of the most inspirational people that I really associated with was I call a true. Well, there's a couple of them. True friend, but was Skip Scarborough.
Mm.
And Skip Scarborough wrote and he, Mother Finest Love Changes. He produced that
Yes.
album and
Yes.
Can't High Love for Earth, Wind and Fire, Love Holiday,
Hmm.
um, uh, produced Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Nancy Wilson, and I mean, and I met those people through Skip. I mean, going backstage and talking to Aretha, and
Yeah.
but one of the greatest songwriters that everything that was hitting in the '70s, he wrote. And and the God's honest truth, because I would read the albums in the back, and I said, "Geez, I would love to have that man write a song for me." Never thought I would meet him one day,
Mm.
and he did write a song for me. We co-wrote a couple of
Really?
songs. So
Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
So you can sing that song when you come to a nap town at the event.
Listen to
Huh?
you. Anyway, to the questions. Where the questions at?
So look, all right.
Okay, someone
Tell you,
asked, "What is my favorite genre?"
not before you
I
get to that one. Before you get to that one, now this is a
oh,
test of your memory. Okay,
okay.
what and where was your first professional performance?
Oh, I know St. John's College, and it was Carol Henson's mother had hired me for the Lynx, and they Charlie, the guy I was telling you about, that's on Broadway, and it's going to be on Law and Order soon. Charlie and I did a duet, a Porgy and Bess duet, and it was Mrs. Adele Henson because they lived across the street from me. Carol Henson's parents did, and
Wow.
she knew I sang. And yep, it was an event for the Lynx. That was my first professional gig, and my cousin David Wynn was there, and he took my picture. Hey, David, that's a cousin. That's a cousin. That's a Macpherson cousin. That's what I'm talking
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Okay.
about.
Okay. Now, all right. You from Deborah Cisco. You
Yeah,
pretty much
Debbie and I went to school together. Yeah,
did you? Man,
yeah.
y'all so old. Y'all old, man.
You know what? Both of us can outrun you, so.
Whatever. Whatever.
Oh.
We'll go ahead and answer that question, okay?
Oh, which genre?
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite genre. I have favorite songs because you can take and this is what they did in the 40s. They would take something from Gershwin and make it jazz,
Hmm.
you know? So a lot of the jazz classics came from Gershwin, um, from his musicals. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it becomes a good song. A good song can be done like I have on my first CD. I have the song "All the Way." Frank Sinatra sang it. Billie Holiday. A lot of people sang it, and I did it with just the piano. It was just me and Mickey Basil, who's from Annapolis. That was Kenny Rogers' pianist for years. Um, and
Wow.
Mickey and I, so we recorded that. It was just as piano and vocals. And what happened was the owner of the studio, um, Ed Peterson of Omega Studio, heard it and asked if I would be interested in doing a big band arrangement of it. And because he had a big band arrangement of it. And so then I did a big band arrangement of it. And people loved both arrangements because it's such a good song. No matter how you did it, it was beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And you promise you'll sing that when you come to Nap Town? Yeah, I'm putting my
It's at my store.
huh?
It's at the store. Let me get to the other questions. Uh,
We
Sylvia.
that next question. We've already answered that next question, so don't worry about it. From Stephen
No,
Banyan.
no, Sylvia.
Okay. All right. All
We
right.
have we have nicknames for each other, Sylvia and I.
Really?
Hmm.
Do tell.
Why?
Do tell.
Why? Um,
This is your life. Do tell.
all of all of out of all of my accomplishments,
Uh,
to be honest, the one I'm most proud of, and it may sound cliche, is but it's true. It's actually my daughter.
awesome.
Yeah, my daughter. Yeah, that just yeah.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
she's
So
the
how many
coolest
children do you
thing
have?
ever.
Just your
One
daughter?
daughter. Yeah,
Does she sing?
she can't sing,
Can she?
but she doesn't. She doesn't want to be in it. She's a hell of a little actress too.
Really?
She can really act. I
Does
I she was in a play and I couldn't even find her because she was
really?
dressed up like a guy. And I didn't
Wow.
even, I was like looking around for her. And she's over there, to life, Lakayama. I'm like, oh my daughter, put her makeup on. Oh yeah, she got videos out there. Her and Snoop Dogg, she just
All
Michael
right
Jackson, she
now.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, yeah, she just graduated with her doctorate, but yeah, her. That's the greatest accomplishment.
Awesome.
And have I ever thought about doing training seminars? Okay, that's a good question. Well, I to be honest with you, I literally get about 10 notifications a day of people needing vocal coaches. Um, I don't know. I want to do coaching, um, but it's not, I know people that are, have like 75, students and, making a very, very, very good living out of it. Um, they're in it for the money. I'm in it for the betterment of someone. If there's, especially
Mm,
if I see a gift in them and they want, the betterment, but you have to do something with it. If I'm
yeah.
going to give it to you, you have to do, even if it's just singing in the church choir, and so I need to hear you so I know where, you know, what to do with you, you know, because every vocalist is different. But
Mm,
next year sometime, yeah, next year. I got to get through a lot of stuff right now.
okay. Okay. Well, you're a very busy person, And
Uh-huh.
whenever I used to try to
Yeah.
get in touch with you, it was tough getting in touch with you,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah.
And whenever you come back with bruh, BRU, I look, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up now. He ready to let me have it.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of things. We're building our own streaming platform. So I'm editing a lot of content right now. I got a staff, and we're editing and promoting things, and because we're putting our own content on our own streaming platform, and so yeah, because we have about 50 original tunes that we've recorded that we're not putting it out on other platforms. I'm
Okay.
not going to do all of that work and have somebody pay me a fifth of a penny for a stream.
Yes. Yes.
I'm not going to do that. No. So I have to build my own. So, and
Makes
when you
sense.
have good music, it stays. Good music stays. You have good quality stuff, it sells.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Paris is a songwriter. So you're still writing songs today, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many different uh I don't want to say acts, but you know, what do you have going on and who are you writing for?
Me.
Just you? Okay.
Me. And my partner. Yeah. Just us for right now. I don't. If somebody wants to use a song and license a song,
Mhm.
and that I have no problem with that. But
Okay.
it's written um, for us because of our sound, and um, yeah, it's sort of like that. So
Awesome. Awesome. Now what about uh, Parris, the film producer.
Well, that after I left Maryland Public Television, I um I directed, I created, directed an animated film called Glory Toys. It's about seven
Mm.
toys stuck in a closet, and they start to protest because they're stuck in the closet and the shelves begin to shake, and all of a sudden a book comes down and plunk one upside their head, and they're like, "What's this?" And they're like, "Oh," they said, "That's the Bible." And they said that's supposed to be the greatest book ever written. And
Yeah.
then one of the other characters is like, if it's so great, why is it stuck in the closet with us collecting dust?
Mm.
So they debate on whether to open it up, and they open it up, and they go in the whirlwind, go inside the Bible, and the story is based on the 7 days that the earth was created.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
So
awesome.
they're singing their way through the Bible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk
That
about
was
some
my
of your
first
books.
really film. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So now you've written some books as well, right?
Mhm.
All right. So how
Mhm.
many books have you wrote? And are you
Oh, well, I've written probably about 6 or 7. I've only published one, two, three, four. I've only published 4. Well, 5 if you couldn't the horrible.
uh, what kind of book?
A horrible. Well, okay, so my historical fiction music audiobook, Abella, right? Abella is a story about an enslaved girl from Annapolis, Maryland, who has a unique singing voice, and she gets sold to an elderly music teacher, and she teaches her how to read and write and cultures her. And because it was against the law and they were ready to come after her, she sends her to New Orleans with her son, who's opening up a medical practice. And when she gets to New Orleans, that was under French territory, and the French would let the enslaved people have Sundays off. And so they would gather together at Congo Square, birthplace of jazz, because the French allowed the Africans also to keep their culture. And so she started to become popular, and then she would go into people's houses and make a little change. And then
Mm.
she's sent to France. And once she gets to France, she becomes really um, famous. And all the money that she made, she sent it back to the States to purchase the freedom of other enslaved people, including her grandparents. And so that was her way of having her own abolitionist movement. And so what she does is she sings throughout the it's 26 spirituals. I
Mm.
arrange and perform all of the spirituals. Some of the songs I wrote as well. My friend John Starr, it was transcribed them for me so that I could have them as in the choral book, so that choirs could perform the songs. And matter of fact, that was the last project that he had worked on, because he was killed in Bowie on Easter Sunday. He had just
Wow.
played at a church, and he was at the red light, and some lady ran into him while
Wow.
he was at the red light. But that was the last project that he worked on. And we worked on it for about a year and a half because it was going back and forth to make sure all the notes were where they were, and we were following everything, because I did it so that you could follow the improv as well, because normally
Yeah.
when you're doing a choral book it's just flat out and you can do whatever improv you want to. And I did spirituals is different.
Hmm.
I always tell people, and I don't really sing gospel. I sing spirituals. There's a difference with spirituals, and because you're doing it without there's no piano there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So either you know what you're doing or you don't. And it's the first music that I learned.
Yeah.
spirituals
Hmm.
during the thunderstorms, like the thunderstorm I was born in, So and so yeah, it just um yeah. So it's Abella, a
Okay.
voice for the voiceless. And so yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
it's and that's the idea I had given to Quincy Jones.
Uh-huh.
And I put it down. I was in Las Vegas and I didn't work on it. And what happened was, um, I had to bring my former husband had to get a kidney transplant, and so
Mm.
um, I moved him. We moved to San Francisco. That's how I got to San Francisco,
Okay.
and moved here in November. And I said, God, what am I gonna do? Because I don't know anyone.
Hmm.
All the stuff was in storage in Las Vegas, and so um, we moved into the apartment on November the 11th. 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. We had a postcard came in for about going to college. So I popped into college in
Mm.
January,
Okay.
and I was frightened. I was really frightened, because I'm older,
Yeah.
um, but this young black man came in. He had this big old afro, and he came and he sat next to me, and I said, "Bruh, where you been?" I'm like, "Oh man, I'm so glad to see you." And he's like looking at me like, "What's wrong with this woman?" And I'm like, "You don't understand. The last time I was in school, everybody had afros. So I feel like, and it was real. It made me so comfortable, and I felt like I hadn't missed a beat because of his afro. So I felt like I belonged there, and so." um, I started the book when I actually started school thinking on the terms of doing the film, music, and books for children. I still
Yeah.
didn't touch Abella. And then when I had to, I dropped a math class, and they were like, "Well, you need to be full time." And the head of the math department asked me if I'd be interested in doing an independent study. And I said, "Well, what exactly is that?" And she was like, "Well, you can work on a project. It can be anything that you want to do." And I said, "Can I write a book?" And she's like, "Yeah." And so she connected me with the head of the English department. And every week I was bringing in 30 pages of writing, 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 writing. And then,
Wow.
yeah, and then I went to grad school from there. And I was using the book as a part of my thesis and my cohort when we had to, give an example of what we wanted to work on. And my cohort, when they heard what I did, because I went into character, I started acting, um, and they were like, "Oh no, this should be an audio book. Oh no," and I'm like, "You got to be kidding. Do you know how much that's going to cost me?" And for 2.5 years, I went to the recording studio every week and recorded. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, Paris, if you had anything encouraging to leave for the viewers tonight, leave them, someone who would like to be the next Parris Lane, what kind of advice
No,
would you leave with them?
don't be the next Parris Lane. Be the next you.
Yeah.
Be the next you, because God made you uniquely you, and don't let anyone tell you that you're not worthy of it.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's powerful. That's powerful. There you
It's
have it.
real. I had to learn the hard way. So you're getting this advice for free. But it's real. It's real because we have too many people in our ears saying no, 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 no. You can't. You can't. You can't. And
Yeah.
you gotta ignore that. Ignore the naysayers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? I back and visit us for a second time. But
Thank
before
you for
you
having me.
leave, oh man, it's just my pleasure, really. And the good thing is, we're gonna get you back in Annapolis. Right? Once we come up with a date, I'm gonna throw it at you now. I'm serious.
Okay.
What? That sounds like a blow off.
No,
Huh?
I don't blow people off.
Uh, see, now you got me.
Da 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 da. Ain't goes away, baby. No, I'm just teasing.
By the way,
We'll see. We'll see.
okay, that's good. How did you come up with the name Parris Lane?
Well, because when I was divorcing my ex-husband, I had to start all over. And my brother and we were like throwing out names. And I said Paris, and he said Lane. And that's how it came together. Yeah, because I wanted to start it out fresh, new, and a new life, a new lifestyle, and focusing on the things that I wanted to focus on. Because, man, when you got the wrong partner, bruh, okay, it can really, really stifle your growth, everything about you. So you got to be careful. Some people are not for you to have as a partner. They're just in your life for that time period. And that's it. But we somehow like to make it permanently because we think it's the right thing to do. So we get a little lost on that path because we want to do, because we're it's ingrained in us. You got to get married. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to be this way. But you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. And they don't mean any harm. It's just who they are,
Yeah.
But it can do a lot of harm to you. So you gotta, yeah. Real experience, real talk.
You're preaching, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is real talk.
It's real
talk.
Real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, Parris, you are welcome to come back whenever you want to come back.
Thank you.
And that's real talk too.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
Even if I wear my sailor hat.
We'd have to talk about that, okay?
All right.
No, that's we have to talk about that. Anyway, you know what? Hey, we'd like to thank everybody who was on tonight. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for supporting the legendary Parris Lane. This was great. This was really great. This is the first time that I went over on an interview.
Oh my!
Hour and 28 minutes. I tell you, this is the first time. It was enlightening, great. May take next week off. I don't know, but to be determined. I'll let you know. Parris, thanks again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Watching. See you maybe next week.
Thank you, my people. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And she will be coming to Annapolis. I know you waiting for me to give away something, but not tonight. But then again, you know what, Parris? I think I will. This was a great interview. And I think tonight, the fifth caller who calls me at 240-603-1743. The fifth caller, 240-603-1743. I think I'm going to give away maybe a hoodie. What you think? A hoodie or a t-shirt? What you think, Parris?
I tell you what, I'll throw in an autograph Abella poster with that. How about that?
Look. Hey, you are not the fifth caller.
No, he didn't.
Two, you are not the fifth caller.
Oh,
Call back. Okay. Hey, look, you're still not the fifth caller. You're number 3. All right.
somebody know how to speed dial.
You're not the fifth caller. Sorry. We have a winner, Vanessa Turner.
Okay.
Hold on. Go ahead, Vanessa. You are the. They still calling. Hey, you can stop calling now. We have a winner. All right. So you are a winner of 2 things tonight. Okay. What I need you to do is text me your address and your size. Okay. All right.
And you'll give me her information, and that way I can send the poster to her. Okay.
Did you hear that, Vanessa?
Address.
Send me your address. All right, and then I will forward your address to and name to the legend to the legend who will be performing in Annapolis. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Congratulations again. Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Peace to you. Okay.
Peace to you, too,
Man, I can't.
bruh. You take care of yourself, okay?
I will.
All right. God bless, man. You smiling too hard. How I get out of this?